Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find tuning into the Oasis podcast. This is a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. Subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch us on YouTube now. Hey y'all, I'm back with another episode of Things I've Learned to Be True. Today's truth moment is stop wasting your goddamn time. Man, I keep thinking that I learned this lesson, and every so often I keep being, I guess you can say, hit over the head with this particular lesson, because clearly I haven't learned it. And I'm not just talking about in, intimate relationships. I'm talking about in a job. I'm talking about with friendships. I'm talking about in any area of your life where you know, and you know how you know, because everything in you is telling you this ain't it. Everything in you is telling you, don't do this no more. Everything in you is telling you, nah, not this one. Everything in you is telling you, she ain't real. But we sit there and we wait and we wait. Oh, maybe. Oh, but stop wasting your damn time. Stop wasting your time. When spirit tells you to move, baby, move. So I'm going to share story time with y'all because y'all know I love a story time. So this was, 2020? Like that was mad long ago, right? I feel like we lived a lifetime just in a year. And your girl was listen, I was in a headspace. This was not even too long after my breakup. And I know I told y'all how another ex done popped up. And me and this particular ex, we started to chat, how that shit goes. And, everything in spirit in my mind was just like, bitch, don't do it. But again, you know how 2020 went, you all, new year, new me, what up? You know what I'm saying? Trying to be centered and be calm and not allow my trauma to really guide my movement. But in this particular case, I absolutely should have let that trauma guide my movement, right? And just like, I know you all probably heard this saying or seen these memes floating around, you cannot go to get fixed or remain fixed in the place that done broke you, right? But that's going to be another conversation. So we're chatting, and on some real shit, I decided to provide this person some closure because, I was feeling generous, on some real shit, I was feeling generous. And so I was like, all right, I really didn't provide closure in this particular dynamic. I was over it. I shut it down. I blocked. I moved on. And this person clearly was, well, not clearly, but this person apparently was really holding on to that, the fact that, there was no real closure. I was in and then I was out. And I said, you know what? I honestly, on some real shit, I really felt that it was necessary. Like something deep in my core was telling me I needed to unpack this and fully unload the trash bags, essentially, because I felt like, I shut it down, but there was still a level of resentment there. There was still a level of even hurt there. And so I needed to let it go because I knew at that time, especially, I just knew what was for me, what I was praying for was coming to me. And I'm like, I can't hold on to this shit when this person comes, and I'm like, I gotta let it go. So went on ahead, we had several conversations, and of course, you know how the exes do, they want to be on some, I still care about you and I still love you, and yada, yada, yada. Yet this person was still doing a lot of similar behaviors. There were improvements, but it was still a lot of similar behaviors. And granted, it was never no like, oh yeah, we're gonna get together. But it was like a, you know what, let's get this shit out. At the end of the day, we had a lot of shit. We never really got to know each other well. There was so much other baggage and shit in the way. I'm like, yo, at the very least, you know, we can at least be on some good terms with each other. I'm not saying we're necessarily gonna be friends, and I'm not saying that we're gonna be something more, but who knows, right? Kind of being open to the fact one way or the other. So let's fast forward, and I have mentioned to y'all, you know, I've been on my spiritual journey, and I've gotten readings done, several readings done in 2020 into 2021. And there was one particular reading that I did. So this was maybe a good month after me and this person started, like, I guess, regularly talking to each other and unpacking shit. And so it's my birthday month now. And I was like, this is the perfect time to get a reading. Like, I'm going to get a reading, you know, to just, you know, figure out some things that's been swirling around in my head, and just to get affirmation from my ancestors or whoever comes through to like guide me, essentially. Child, maybe one day I'll unpack the readings, but baby. So I'll give you this snippet. So in the reading, you know, they're like, okay, what questions you have? And, you know, I was like, you know, an ex has, you know, popped back up. And I am really in a space where I don't really know how much energy I should be giving this thing. Girl. Child, let me tell you how the person who was reading me was channeling my spirit guides. And my spirit guides, when I tell you, I didn't even finish the question rather. And it was like a no, like... Don't do that. Like, and I was taken aback because I don't know, I just was. But at the same time, my gut and everything in me was like, you knew that. And they continue on to tell me that why the hell would you go back to a situation where you already know what that is. You already know that it ain't gonna work. You know this person is not spiritually grounded. You know this person isn't going to be able to provide you what you want or need. And they literally said to me, it's like you are, when you go back to this person, it's like you are sewing patches together to create a quilt. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how this quilt comes out. It's still old shit being put back together. And it's still old material, and you're trying to make it look new. Yo, when I tell you, I was like mouth agape, just like, wow. And some other things were shared that just were just like, yeah, like legit, as like this person who was reading me, I didn't know a person from a hole in the wall. Like, I didn't know this person, not one iota at all. So many things were so personally shared, and I was like, wow, like that's insane. And one of the last things that they said was like, yo, just be patient. Like, you need to vibrate higher. Once you vibrate higher, you'll meet who you need to meet. But right now, be patient and work on yourself. And then they stated, but when you are severing this tie with this person, do it peacefully. And I thought that was hilarious. And anybody who knows me knows that I can't have a mouth, but I've been working on it and I have grown. So I just thought it was so funny that, you know, my spirit guides would share that, because it's like, wow. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. Now I have this information, and y'all wouldn't even believe me how things worked out after that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to lay whatever I need to lay out on the table. No matter of fact, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to lay out whatever I need to lay out on the table. And y'all know, because when it comes to exes, they always eventually show their ass. So he started showing his ass a little beforehand. He didn't even really start showing the ass. I just was like, look, laid it out on the table. And things went exactly how they said it was gonna go. And I sat back while I was processing not only the reading, but as things was unfolding, I was like, why? And it just like what my spirit guide said, why did you even waste your time, essentially? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's never time wasted, oh, it's always an experience learned. And that's a great positive way to think. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of situations where that's the best mindset to have. But when it comes to dealing with exes specifically, child, that's like you throwing away your bag of garbage and going back on the curb to pick it up and to go through it, thinking, oh, maybe there's something in here I can keep. That don't make sense. Don't do it. Don't waste your motherfucking time. And not that I wasted a lot of time even conversing with this person, but when I decided to stop talking to this person, one, not only a weight was lifted off my shoulders, but literally the door opened up for who was to come next. For today's Connection Corner, I leave you with: discipline is just self-love in motion. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and YouTube. Rate us and leave us a review and comment on Apple Podcasts or iTunes and YouTube. Share your favorite episode and like us on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, or have show ideas, contact us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. That's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com, or direct message us on Instagram or Facebook.